The draft of Delhi's new EV policy is out.
And today, we are going to analyze it, tell you what is industry saying and how it impacts you.
Welcome to Autocar Professional. This is Mukul Yudhvir Singh.
And I'm Mugdha Mishra. Every year, Delhi reels with pollution problem. It's generally high, specifically in winters, it spikes and causes a lot of trouble in many people's life. It impacts their health. So, Delhi government has drafted a very strict EV policy. It is a step in the right direction, but what are the nitty-gritties of this EV policy? Let's find out. Mukul, first let's talk about the highlights of the EV policy.
I think the biggest highlight of the policy in Mugda has been no new registration for ICE two-wheelers starting 2028 and no new registrations for ICE three-wheelers starting 2027. Now, on the face of it, two-wheelers is the largest registered vehicle form factor in Delhi, while three-wheelers, are daily bread and butter for almost every Delhiite.
According to data, these two segments contribute the most to pollution. Three-wheelers, just because of the fact that they are on the road a lot more than any other product, and two-wheelers just by sheer number. So I think from direction point of view, the Delhi EV policy is very well targeting the exact source of pollution.
Interesting, yeah. There are a lot of reports that say that two-wheelers are the leading cause of pollution in the country. And if you've been in Delhi, if you've been on a Delhi road, you would understand that for every four-wheeler that you see, you at least get to see 5 two-wheelers.
Yeah.
Right. And three-wheelers is something, though they use CNG, there are a lot of electric vehicles as well. But three-wheelers are now aging in Delhi and they are due replacement cycles. So as you said, I think the policy hits the bang on in terms of both environment and the end user. But is Delhi ready for it?
Well, that's the big question. Before we move on to analyze this factor, let's also discuss about what's happening for four-wheelers.
Right. So I think the clause for passenger vehicles is very clear. Unlike mandating electric vehicle registrations in two-wheelers and three-wheelers, there are no mandate for passenger vehicles. First, for electric vehicles, the registration would be completely free or completely subsidized. For hybrids, is going to be 50%.
Yeah.
So that is close to a benefit of around 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh to 50,000 rupees. But then again, if you're buying a car above 30 lakh, so if you're buying something luxury in an electric vehicle, you don't get that benefit, Mugdha.
That's pretty good because they anyway get a lot of benefit in terms of depreciation benefits and all. So I think this is a very balanced policy in that respect. But the bigger question is my biggest question is on two-wheelers, because putting a complete ban on registration, this is happening for the first time. Till now, governments have been incentivizing EV purchase. This is the first time the draft policy is mandating EV purchase, which has not happened till now. So there's a shift in the way Delhi government has approached this EV policy.
You're right, Mugdha. Even in Chandigarh, where we saw something of a similar draft in the beginning, even there, what government finally came out was a policy wherein there's a quota. For example, let's say 100. Once 100 ICE vehicles are sold, then only EVs are mandated to be sold in that particular year. But in Delhi, it's a complete ban if it comes into place.
So that raises a couple of questions. First and foremost, my first thought was for motorbikes, because there are very few EV motorbikes available in the country right now. Of course, by 2028 there will be a lot more. But will it be able to compensate for all that is existing right now? I'm not so sure. The other point is that is the industry ready to ramp up production? Delhi constitutes a huge portion, around 14-15% of the total sales of the country comes from Delhi itself for two-wheelers. So that is a significant amount. Is the industry ready to ramp up production that quickly? I was just talking to some industry sources, and because of West Asia crisis, there is a shift towards EVs, and they said they are unable to ramp up as quickly as demand. Last month, 80% increase in two-wheelers EVs, and they said that it would have been more if we had the supply. We did not have supply. Um, Most of the EVs are all sold out. Two-wheeler EVs are all sold out. Yes, there is 2-year window open right now, but to companies will have to recalibrate their entire supply chain, focus a lot more towards EV procurement, and that's going to be a big challenge.
Interesting. But then, I spoke to some dealers in Delhi, and a lot of these dealers also have dealerships outside Delhi. For instance, in Gurugram, in Faridabad, in Ghaziabad, and Noida. And they tell me something very good and very different. So, to answer your question on motorcycles, what they simply said was, let's not register in Delhi. We'll register the motorcycle in Faridabad or in Noida. All it requires is the Aadhaar card. So, for them, if it was somebody who's interested in buying a two-wheeler, let's say a 350cc motorcycle, and Delhi has banned it, they will help this guy get a Aadhaar card for a neighboring city and register the motorcycle there.
Yeah.
But then motorcycle will still be plying on the Delhi roads.
Yeah.
How does that solve the problem?
That is true. The registrations will just shift to a different location. The bike will still stay in Delhi.
Interesting.
Bike or scooter, whatever the product.
And one more thing that I see, Mugdha, is, I'm sure that both me and you, we've been covering news, we read a lot of news. Societies are a very big hurdle in this policy. Societies, especially one with the underground parkings, are not at all ready for EV charging. Though Delhi, the draft says something about a centralized EV charging body, even then, societies are not ready.
Yeah, first of all, there are question mark about putting EV chargers in the basement. Most of the parking happens in basement in societies, and basement charging is a big question mark. It's a safety hazard. The second point is that Delhi has a lot of on-road parking because people don't have space. They don't have parking space. How will they charge? And if you can't put chargers in the basement, and you suppose as a society you decide you will have community charging, if everybody has to charge their EVs, how are they going to do with that community charging? You can put 5, 7, but if the entire society needs charging infrastructure, how are you going to charge your vehicle if you're not charging from your own personal device? I think what can work maybe those batteries which are removable, and you can take them home and charge, and that's a better strategy, I think.
Interesting, but how many models do you actually know which come with a removable battery?
Sure.
But now, jumping to the three-wheeler segment, right? So a lot of fleet owners do want to include electric three-wheelers into their fleets, but they want to do it, slowly with incentives, with subsidies. Now, the current policy, if it comes into picture, may be offering some, but then this mandate might backfire on the end consumer because the capex for, let's say, acquiring 10 electric three-wheelers is something that the fleets would want to pass on to the end consumer. So your pizza or my burger might get costly.
Well, if you come to think of it, most of the delivery partners have shifted to EVs, and even fleet owners are very rapidly shifting towards EV, and they see the benefit because the running cost, both in terms of charging and in terms of maintaining those vehicles, comes down significantly compared to an ICE vehicle. So they are more or less very keen on shifting towards EVs, and they have been able to manage their time schedules and everything pretty decently. So I think, yeah, it might impact a little bit on cost, but otherwise I think fleet owners are all right, and especially delivery partners are pretty okay shifting towards EVs. But the bigger question again for Delhi is that the big problem with Delhi's structure is that it is a combination of old city and new city. And in old city, you have very narrow lanes. And even in the new city, if you are New Delhi area, you have pockets where there are very narrow lanes. And yes, when you charge, there are chances of thermal runaway.
Yeah.
somebody has used fast chargers. There are lots of issues around it. And Delhi, I don't know whether it's ready for that challenge or not in terms of making sure that everybody is able to charge their product safely.
Well, I think that's one debate we should leave for the audience, Mugdha, because
But
the
but
policy
right now, policy does give you the option of talking about it.
exactly around 10th of till 10th of the May, wherein you can send your suggestions via an email to the government of Delhi.
In the meanwhile, I think industry will also make their representation, but you can make your voice heard as well. If you have a point of view that you want to share with the government of Delhi, you can do that. You can find that email on
The
government's
Delhi
website.
government of yeah, on the Delhi government website. This is Mukul Yudhvir Singh
And this is Mugdha Mishra signing off.
for Autocar Professional.